Hey there, YouTubers. Kid in Order here, and you're watching Session Report, the show that takes you to the gamer's table to share in the surprises that come out during play. And today we're going to be playing OctoDice, which is a nice and simple roll and write game, which means I'm going to be rolling a lot of dice, and I'm going to be writing stuff down. Pretty self-explanatory. I'm going to be writing stuff down on this sheet here. And this is going to be the second of my sort of, I mentioned in the previous video for Super Hot, that this is a sort of a test video to see if, basically, if continuing to make videos is going to be worthwhile, or if I'm going to have to look for alternative methods of, I guess, sharing information about board games with people. So, this one is another really quick game. I expect once I get the game described, I'm going to get the actual game played within 10 minutes. It's going to be very, very straightforward. But we're not going to be playing by the official solo rules. We're going to be playing using a variant by a Board Game Geek user named Silver Duck. And this variant is going to make the game a little bit more like the actual multiplayer game and fix I guess the most glaring flaws in the official solo game. This is one of those games, just like Castles of Burgundy, the card game, where there is an official solo variant, but could have been so much better with just very, very minor tweaks, and that's what we're going to be doing today. So let me explain how the variant works. In the official solo rules, you basically play 9 rounds instead of 6 rounds. So they remove the ability to observe your opponents. And that, pretty much everything else is unchanged, except you don't get any points for crystals at the end of the game. In the multiplayer game, you get points for having the most crystals or the second most crystals at the end of the game. And you, every time your opponents roll the dice, you have the chance to observe what they rolled, which basically means you get to score something that they rolled. The opponent gets to score it too, but you get to do it as well. So the official solo rules don't have that. This variant does. So basically how it works is I'm going to be rolling my turns and playing out my rounds like normal. But then, after each of my rounds, I roll the dice once for the opponent. And 2 things happen. Number 1, any crystals that they rolled, they get to score crystals. Now, the opponent is not going to actually score points. It's basically just for me to be able to compare my crystal results and to get those observations in. So for every crystal symbol they roll on the white die, I'm going to put a dot next to the topmost crystal on this sheet. And that's going to let me know how many crystals the opponent has gathered at the end of the game, so I can compare against them. This is not exactly like Silver Duck's rules. I made a slight variation on it. I think Silver Duck was intending for you to only score crystal when you have a crystal and a positive number on one of these black dice, but we're going to do it anyway. We're going to do crystal every time a crystal is rolled on a white die on the opponent's turn. The other major change is, obviously, I'm going to be observing. So when I roll this dice, for the opponent's turn, I get to observe, just like I would in a standard multiplayer game. I get to observe what they rolled and maybe take one of those results for my own. I'm going to make 1 observation per time they roll. This is another change that I've made to Silver Duck's rules. In Silver Duck's variant, you can observe twice in 1 roll. I've changed that because I like for there to be a little bit more constraint, a little bit more tension and uncertainty, so that if you're going to make an observation, you got to do it once per roll in order to get the maximum observation. So in my variant, you can observe once per opponent's roll, and so if you want to get the maximum number of observations, you got to do it every time the opponent takes a turn. And that's pretty much it. That is the game. I'm assuming that you already know the OctoDice rules, but I will also be referencing them as I play. So I've set up the random laboratory expansion tiles, and I think we're ready to just get into it. All right, so in this variant, the first player, or the only player, the solo player, is always first every round and every third, basically. So I'm going to roll my dice. And remember, the way that this game works is you roll your dice, you choose 2 to keep, and you re-roll the rest, and you keep doing that until you've rolled all the dice. Well, until you've kept all 6 dice. So I'm going to choose, I definitely want to work on lab expansions, because if I look over here, there are a lot of points potentially to be had by lab expansions in this game. I have Super Lab over here, which gives me 4, 6, or 7 points for each fully expanded row. And I also have Plus Lab in that same column, which gives me an additional point every time I take the lab action. So that's a great move to have. So I'm definitely keeping that. And I think I'm actually going to keep this yellow 0 as well, because the yellow could be very valuable to me. So we're going to re-roll the rest. And we've got a gear. What is that? I forgot. It's like a research. We've got a bot, and we've got a green one, and we've got an octopod. Now, remember, I want to, in my 2 turns that I have, I want to cross out 2 octopods, or I lose 2 points at the end of the round. So it might be good to keep an octopod, but on the other hand, then that's a die I can't use for anything else. I'm going to keep the octopod. We'll hold on to it. And then what else am I going to keep? You know, since I have that yellow 0, I'm going to keep research, because then I can cross off that first research action, and we'll see what the third one comes up with, and it is a bot and a green 1. Okay, so now I choose 2 actions to take. I'm going to have to use this yellow 0, and I'm going to have to use the green 1, because I can't use the octopod for any of my actions. All right, so let's figure out what we're going to do. All right, I mentioned before, I definitely want to be doing lab actions, so we're going to take this white lab die and this green 1, and we're going to move up on FlexiLab, which basically means I can treat this yellow 0 as any number or color, which is great. I'm then going to also, so that was 1 action. I don't get any points for that, so we're just going to cross that off like that. Then for my second action, we're going to take a research with this yellow 0, and we're going to cross that off, which does give me 1 point. And as I progress down the research track, I can get increasingly high numbers of points. Now, if we're just rolling 1 octopod, I don't get any bonus points, but I do get to cross out this 1 octopod symbol. And then if I've crossed out the second one, then I don't get those negative points at the end of the round. Okay, fair enough. We're now going to do the opponent's turn. So I'm just going to roll what they got. No crystals. Bunch of octopods, but they don't really care about that. So really the only action that I can mimic is this sub action. So I'm going to observe this sub action, and I have to decide, am I going to do the green 1, the red, or the white? So let's see. It doesn't really make a difference at this point, green, red, or white. I think they're all equally likely to be rolled. So yeah, it doesn't really make a difference. However, this white 2 is going to be worth more points on its own if I choose to get crystals with it. So I don't... so I think I'm less likely to be doing that. In fact, I'm going to go for the red. So we're going to use the sub and the red 0, which means we cross out this sub. And I believe subs also don't immediately get you any points, but at the end of the round I might get points for those. So, going back to my turn. Roll and... All right, perfect. Another lab action. I definitely want that. And we will take... oh, geez, this is tough. Well, I definitely want that octopod. But I also really want this bot and the red 0, because then I can earn a point for the bot, and I can earn a point at the end of the round for my sub. But then what if I can only take one of them unless I choose to not take the lab. Oh, this is tough. This is tough. Let's see. I definitely want to take the lab. I'm going to go for lab as my primary strategy this game. So for the other one, I will take this white bot. And then I know I'm ready to do those 2 actions this round. Let's re-roll the rest. Oh, geez Louise. A bunch of greens and a research. Well, let's just take the research and the green, and we'll roll. That was a lab. And we got, oh, perfect, a red and a blue. Now, unfortunately, that means I didn't catch my 2 octopods this round. Oh, that's going to be tough. That's another sort of flaw with the official solo mode, is it's much easier to catch the octopods. They should have made it so you catch 3 or something like that. All right, so that is a problem, but I can do some things that get points. Okay, so we're going to take the lab action, and we're going to go, doesn't matter, we're going to take one of these, and we're going to go plus lab. So we expand on that. Again, that doesn't earn me any points. And then for my second action, I'm going to do bots with red. So we're going to cross off that red, and we get 1 point for that bot currently. No points for octopods, and in fact, I'm going to lose points for octopods this round, but that's okay. What did I copy? Oh, I copied a sub action, which didn't earn me any points immediately, so that goes there. Okay, so my last observation, I can't observe octopods, I don't believe, so we're just going to see what we can get here. Come on. Okay. Another lab action I could take, that'd be great. I can't really copy the research, and again, I can't copy the octopod. So let's do a lab action. Okay, you know what? I made a little boo-boo, but it's not going to affect my game, because I believe I've actually done this up until this point in the game. When you take a lab action, the number on the die has to match the number of the lab tile you move to. So when I moved onto the 0, I had to use a 0. When I moved onto the 1, I had to use a 1. I believe I've done that up to this point. So we don't have to worry about it going back and undoing it. But now if I want to move on to the 2, for instance, then I'm going to have to use this white 2. I can't move on to 0 lab for anything. So I'm going to have to, I think, do this. We'll use the white 2 and we'll move on to the super lab H, which I don't get any points immediately for doing that, but I'm going to be getting some points at the end of the game for this super lab. So again, I'm just going to cross that off. Okay, so then we're going to go into the intermediate scoring, which is pretty self-explanatory. I lose 2 points for the octopods. Oops. And then I gain 1 point for this submarine, which means actually I get 1 point total for this entire third of the game. But I'm going to be getting a lot of points later on for labs. Oh, you know what? I took a lab action. I should have gotten 1 point for that because I have plus lab, which means I actually get 2 points for this third of the game. All right, we're going to move right on to the next. Oh, and the opponent did roll a crystal, it looks like. I think that was a crystal, so they are 1 on the crystal track. I want to try and catch up with them. All right, we're going to move on to the next third of the game. It is my turn, and oh geez, okay. Yeah, we're gonna do this, like so. We will do like so, like that, I believe, and last 2. Okay, perfect. All right, so I can take 2 actions out of this. I think I'm going to take, remember, I can treat this yellow 0 as anything. I don't get any octopods, which is a little worrisome, but I think we'll be fine. I'm going to do this bot action, so 2 points from that. 2 points from that. And I'm also going to, I think, treat this yellow 0 as a red, and we're going to do a research action and get 2 points for that. No points from octopods this round, and we're good. So points are starting to pick up a little bit, which is good. And then we are going to roll for the opponent. Just once for the opponent. Oh, holy moly. Okay, they've got a lot of crystals. 1, 2, 3. So if I don't start rolling crystals, I'm not going to get any points for crystals this game, which is fine. I don't think I'm going to get any points for crystals this game. The Silver Ducks rules basically have you lose 2 points if you don't at least match the opponent's crystals, gain 2 points if you exceed them, and 0 points if you match them. Now this is not the same as the multiplayer game, and essentially it makes no difference in your overall score. It's just, I guess, a way to incentivize going after crystals. But really, when you think about it, losing 2 points, getting 0, or gaining is pretty much the same as getting 0, 2, or 4 points. So I don't know if it really makes a difference. Okay, rough. Well, I get to copy one of these. So I'm going to take this pair, and we're going to get like so, and I'm going to take 1 point from researching crystals. Okay, my next round. I definitely want octopods this round, so I'm going to grab that octopod, and let's see. I'm going to grab this yellow 0 because it's very flexible. Let's roll again. Man, I got to get 2 octopods. Come on. Okay, so again, I could do that yellow 0. I could do more bots. I could do more crystals. Let's see here. I'm going to take the, let's see, I think I just have a 1 in 6 chance of getting octopods on each die. So I'm going to take that yellow 0, because again, they're very flexible. And you know what? No, I'm going to take the crystal, because otherwise I'm not going to get 2 actions this round. I'm going to take the crystal and the bot, and then we'll roll again. Come on, octopods. Ah, no octopod. I'm really doing poorly with octopods this game. Okay, so we're going to take our actions now. I've got a bot and I've got a crystal. So let's see. I believe, I was hoping actually of doing research, but I didn't end up doing that. So I believe I'm going to take this crystal and I'm going to turn this yellow 0 into a white 2, and I'm going to get 2 points for crystal research. And then I'm going to do this bot with the green 1, and I'm going to get 1 point from the bot, like so. And again, I'm losing points from octopods this round, but that's okay. I could get to cross out 1 octopod, but that is not 2 octopods. Okay, so opponent's turn. We're going to roll, see what they get. And let's see, we've got yellow submarine, we've got white bots, we've got, let's see, I could do a submarine, I could do bots, and that's really it. I could treat the sub as anything. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do the sub with the yellow and treat it as a green, and that way I get one of those. No points for it currently. I could have copied the octopod, but yeah, we'll see. And then we'll score up at the end of the round. So let's see here. I get -2, but I do get, I didn't add that last time, I would have gotten 1 point, I believe. Now I get 1, 2, 3 points for submarines, -2 for octopods, so that's +1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 points for this third. All right, let's move on to the final part of the game. All right, here we go. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Get those doggies rolling. Okay, rawhide. Let's do this, and we'll take an octopod. And we will take another octopod, get those out of the way. And we will, let's see, grab the crystal action, and then roll, and a 1 and a 2. Not really what I wanted, because I can't actually do any lab expansions with a 1 or a 2. But I do get to do a crystal action with a 2, so that's not bad at all. And then I'm going to get to cross off 2 octopods this round, which means I get some points. I get 1 point for crossing off 2 octopods, and I don't lose 2 points, which is very nice. And then opponent goes, and I do get to copy a lab action. Since I have a plus lab, I get 1 point for that, and I'm going to copy the lab action, and I'm going to get sub plus. Okay, perfect. And no crystals. My turn. Okay, we've got more octopods, which I don't need. We've got research, which I could do. Let's see. We're going to take that research, and we are going to take. We're going to take that red 0. roll. Perfect, I need that lab. And we are going to take, let's see. What else do I want? What can I do with a red 0? Well, I'm going to use that with a lab, which means the research, I want a blue, so I can't do anything with that. So I'm going to take the crystal, I think, and we will roll. You know what? No, I'm going to take this. I had a green 1. I'm going to take that. And we have a sub and a green 1. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to use this lab action. Since I have plus lab, I get 1 point for that. We're going to move down to Flexi Tech. And then I could use research as bots if I wanted. And in fact, I'm going to do that. So I'm going to use research as a bot action. And we're going to cross off this and I get 2 points for that. Haha, very nice. All right, one more turn for the opponent to go. Let's see what they get. More crystals, which is not so good for me. But I could copy the crystals, or I could do a sub action, or I could do a research action. I can't do the research action. I could do the sub action. I get 1 point for that. But it's better to get 2 points for crystals. So I'm going to get 2 points for crystals, like so. And then we're going to add up our bonuses. Okay, so nothing lost from octopods, and I get 4 points for subs, which means I get 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13 points for this third. Now I'm going to add up points for crystals. I get 0 points for crystals, but for the lab expansions, I do get 4 additional points. So I can get 4 additional points overall. That's 4, 6, 19, 28. 28 total points in the game. And there you go. That is OctoDice with Silver Duck's much improved solo variant. All right, for OctoDice, that's going to be all she wrote, y'all.